Ready?
Yeah. Yeah, Eric needs to watch Old Boy, the old one, 2003 version.
That's what he calls his wiener.
What? That's how we do it in the house. Sweat Equity Podcast, making dick jokes and business
Right
combined.
off the bat, baby.
Since 2015. 2015?
Oh.
I think.
Wow.
All we're talking about, we're the number one comedy business podcast in the world. Pragmatic entrepreneurial advice in real raw dog talk. That's your favorite.
What?
Your favorite slug line?
Hate it.
Listen to us on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. What else? Google Play, Amazon. Podcasts.
I'm looking at Fathom that you sent over to me, and they actually categorize this, I think, as business comedy.
Yeah, Fathom is
So they're
a
wrong.
better search engine, they say. But I got to figure out why we don't show up as Sweat Equity, the first result. That's bothering me.
Okay, I'll get up the ass.
And it's got our old artwork on there. Anyway,
No, it
this
doesn't.
it doesn't anymore?
No.
All right, this isn't a sponsor.
Just you and me
Fathom.
talking.
We have Tomer Khin on from, what is it?
Seas.
Seas, S-I-I-Z
See?
dot
You're
life.
still calling it jizz.
I know, dude. I can't help it. I have jizz on the mind all the time.
What?
Mobcomedia.com, M-O-B-C-O media.com. And our sponsor, Squarespace, the drag and drop all-in-one content management system. You don't need to code, don't need to really learn a lot about web development and design because everything's laid out for you. Drag and drop, responsive, and it's only like, I don't know, under $300 a year for the best subscription.
$26 a month.
If you hit our promo code in the description, you get the hookup. Holler if you hear me. Let's get this party started. A hottie, a Tommy.
What?
What about my sweat equity? Sweat equity. Sweat equity. My sweat equity. My sweat equity. What about my sweat equity?
Hello.
Hello.
What's up, man?
Hey, how are you guys?
Good. I don't know if you got to listen to any episodes before coming on, but we're rolling.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Good to be on the show.
We keep it efficient. I think
Okay,
most entrepreneurs prefer that. Why don't you now? Your name seemingly seems easy to read, but I'm sure.
It's easy to read, not easy to say, maybe.
Well, Tomer Hin is how I'd say it, but I'm pretty sure that's probably not how you pronounce it. Is there?
Just not.
That's perfect. That's exactly how I pronounce it.
Is it?
You probably say it way cooler, though.
What's the real way to say it though? What? How would your mom introduce you?
All right, Tomer Khin.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, way
See,
better.
yep.
Yeah.
Way
I knew
better.
it. I had a feeling. And where you dialing in from?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Tel Aviv, Israel, but right now I'm in LA,
You're in LA. What part of LA you in?
West Hollywood.
I lived there for a year.
I know. You've mentioned it
Yeah.
many times.
Boys Town, baby.
I know.
Did you know that the rainbow grid on the police cars there in West Hollywood, it's supposed to represent the map of West Hollywood? Like that is
really?
a weird fun fact that
It's weird.
it
know how
just looks
fun
like,
it is.
It looks like a pixel, like it looks like a pixelated rainbow, and you're like, what is that? I had to ask a cop one time.
Gerrymandering.
It was bothering me. But West Hollywood in the middle of LA is like, I don't know how it is now. I haven't been there in 8 years, but it's like real nice and pristine because all the gays are there.
Right.
And then
Kids not
on the-
dropping their trash everywhere.
and then around it is like Hollywood, right next to it is like total trash. Is that how it still
Right.
is?
Where the kids are.
Yeah, I think it's even worse since you've probably last visited LA. So it's kind of worse than what you can probably remember.
I lived there from 06 to 2010 and then was going back like every month or two because I still work for a company out in Pasadena and they wanted me to fly in every so often. And I was like, every time I come in, it was getting worse. It was like, Venice was like, there's so many campers and stuff The homeless like epidemic out there is insane.
You sound like really, really old.
No,
old
I mean,
man shit right
is
now.
it? No,
Yes,
it's
it is.
no, it's
Yeah.
scary. It's bad. Like,
Right, that's you just topped it. Cherry on
Yeah.
top.
no, back in my day,
You cherry on topped it by saying, "No, you poking fun at me is not funny.
I don't think you
This
get.
is very
I don't think you
serious.
get it, dude.
This is very serious. Our grandchildren are out there."
They pay the most in taxes and get the least amount back. Okay. Founder and CEO, Mobco Media in CIS supplement. So if people want to go to mobcomedia.com. Is that your agency, you would call it?
Yeah, so we're not necessarily an agency. So we've been an app user acquisition agency for big brands like Amazon, McDonald's, L'Oreal for almost 10 years now. And in the last 2 years, we've kind of shifted our focus to help brand founders actualize their vision. We basically invest in the brand as the operational partner and help the founder freed up from anything related to customer acquisition, operation, product development, so they can focus on the vision while we help them with anything operational, basically.
So full service. It sounded like what? Tell us about that shift. How do you go from app acquisition? I'm guessing you're trying to get installs. You know, you're acquiring users by install downloads. How do you make that shift, or why? I guess.
Yeah, that's a great question. I love to answer that. So I've always been fascinated and passionate for supplements, biohacking, human optimization, you can call it. And 2 years ago, I've decided to launch my own brand for entrepreneurs, high performers, creators, and develop a supplement brand that would help with focus, energy, dropping into flow state on demand, basically. And I really didn't want to deal with any of the operational stuff, dealing with agencies, hiring teams, Facebook ads, email marketing, all of that. I really wanted to just focus on product development and talking to my potential customers, which are entrepreneurs and high performers in general. So I've built my own internal team within my company to help me with all of these operational aspects, including influencer partnerships, email marketing, talking to manufacturers, customer acquisition by all means. And we've realized that I can just focus on talking to my audience, talking to the potential customers. And we realized that for food and supplement brands in general, a lot of the brand building aspects are kind of repetitive. So we could use that team and infrastructure that we've built in order to help other brand founders who really got into this business in order to serve a certain audience or to help a certain group of people, and they found themselves dealing with Facebook ad blocks and manufacturers and fulfillment and all of that, and they are shifting away from being the visionary into being operators. So we partner up with a few brands, specifically in the food and supplement space, to really basically tell them, hey, you just focus on what you do best, which is getting more product ideas that serve your audience and really understanding what your people need, and we will take care of the rest. So this is where I've just followed my passion, which was initially just supplements, combined with my passion for marketing and operations, and that's how our mission just shifted to build the most efficient and robust infrastructure to build and grow consumer brands.
Yeah.
Sounds like who I want to be when I grow up. I like supplements and operations. I'm still figuring it out. You're so good that you're making a business out of doing it again and again. That's awesome. I want to hear about the supplement, though.
It's
the flow state. It's SIZ.
SIIZ.life if you're going on your browser. If anybody wants to check out the website.
Thank you. So, again, I've always been passionate about human optimization, about getting the best out of my days, whether it's lifestyle hacks, nutrition, supplements, all of it. And I've tried, dozens of supplements, nootropics, different life hacks, I would call it, or biohacks. And I just told a very, very talented formulation team, hey, these are the products that I've used. I need to buy all of them and use all of them so I can really feel what I want to feel, which is basically dropping into flow state on demand. And I want to create a singular product that I can just take, whether it's capsules or a powder that dissolves in water, which is what we have. First thing in the morning or just before I go on my computer and drop into flow state. And that's what we've created. So I'm really looking to serve entrepreneurs, high performers, content creators to help them get the work done in a more fun and better way. So it basically supercharges your morning coffee, not just your morning coffee, but just your, if you drink it alongside coffee, that works wonders. And I'll be happy to send you guys 2 boxes of Flow.
Yeah,
Flow is the name of our product.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was scrolling down looking for it. It looks like it's still not 100% released yet, or because you have early bird sign up if anybody's listening and wants to go on the site and get on that early bird limited time exclusive offer.
Wait, I gotta ask about ice baths. Are you doing ice baths yet? Because if you're not and you're into that sort of thing, I mean, I'm telling you, dude, that's the one thing that, man, I got a commercial ice machine at my house now. Once a week at least, I'm getting in there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I do cryotherapy and I do a cold shower every morning. I love that. I think that's that's kind of amazing. I think that's mostly mentally the fact that I do a very cold shower first thing in the morning, even if I don't really feel like it. Because I'm doing this for so long, for I think almost 3 years now, I know that the day where I'd give up, that's a day that's going to be not going to go the way I wanted it. Yeah. Because if I've gone through really cold showers in every city, and that's the fun part about going to new cities is that I really don't know how cold those waters are going to be. So I'm just turning it to the coldest water and hope for the best. And that's how I start my day. And I'm like, okay, I passed that, and I can, if I overcame this, I can probably come over other aspects of my day and struggles and all of it. So
that's awesome. Yeah, you got to do the ice water. I've done cryo.
Yeah.
And it's obviously not as cold. Cryo is like negative 200,000 degrees, whatever it is. But the water cuts differently. Yep. It gets to your core, and once you get there, you'll be bulletproof or whatever they say.
Yeah. That's next goal.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, and you kind of mentioned one of those kind of efficiency or habitual kind of philosophies, like eat the frog. Do the hardest thing first in your day, or one of the harder things, it sounds like, and then the rest of your day it minimizes what the stress of those things are, because you kind of already, it shocks your body, really, is what it's doing. Yeah. And that's why your inflammation goes down from all of that, because it's your body's like, oh shit.
Right.
So I'm also interested in the creative process for a lot of people, and not only just like in an artsy way, but also the ability to kind of create solutions. The perfect state of creative flow. What does that really mean?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. I'd probably download it as I think. But
well, I can vamp for a second, because it's taken me a while to kind of figure out, all right, where am I at my most creative, right? And a lot of the anti-creative's like jerking off, probably.
Right. The older we get, man, the harder it is.
But
right?
Yeah. And then I found because fitness is such a part of my life, I get most of my best ideas, or I'm trying to figure out a joke for on stage. If I write down, I need to figure out the end of this joke, I need to figure out a brand name for this client, I need to figure out a logo for this, go for a run or a really hard workout, for whatever reason.
Or a drive. Have you ever
A drive can do it.
Something about moving.
But drives for me aren't pointed. Drives are like,
right.
That'll be more shower thoughts.
Yeah.
You know?
It was more when I was working, where I was driving maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours at a time.
Yeah. That I got into more utilization of time and like, what can I do while I'm driving?
Right.
You know, but
creative.
But I wouldn't get creative. But if that works for you, that's great.
Right.
I think a lot of people don't really look at themselves as a guinea pig and try to figure out where am I at my most creative? Like what are the gold stars throughout the day where I came up with ideas? Took me a while to kind of figure that out. Like I'll go for walks if I need to figure shit out. Hopefully I vamped enough for you to. What's the perfect state of creative flow in your kind of terms?
Yeah, I like walks as well. I really like just going every hour. Just go down, have a 15-minute walk around my block. When I get back, I have so many ideas, and it's just like it's sort of like having a nap, but in the other way, just seeing some sunlight, etc. But going back to your question, I feel that whenever I'm going backward from having the intention of why I'm doing this specific task, even if it's just answering an email, for example, or calling that partner, or looking for that thing online, whenever I visualize the end goal that I'm trying to achieve, even if it's 3 years ahead, then I can see what's going to happen a year from now, then a quarter from now, a month from now, a week from now. And by the end of the day, and by the end of these 5-minute tasks, I feel that even going through this exercise for 2 minutes in my head, eyes open, eyes closed, gives me so much mental energy that I'm really energized, really focused on why I'm doing this specific task. I'm way more sharp, even if it's something that could be seen as a very boring task, because I think that as entrepreneurs, when we don't have a boss to actually have us accountable for the task that we need to produce, or accomplishing our goals, no one's providing us the feedback. We need to motivate ourselves to be more productive, be more efficient, do those tasks that sometimes could seem as boring. And I feel that successful entrepreneurs have the ability to do the boring tasks just over and over and over again. And that's something that I'm always struggling with, having severe undiagnosed ADHD. I need to motivate.
You're in good company.
We're going to rename the podcast that.
Yeah.
Severe undiagnosed ADHD.
And then
.com.
Look, there's a butterfly. Let's,
you already forgot what we were talking about.
Yeah, let's ask. I wanted to kind of ask about you personally before we kind of got into more of the business side of your two brands. But you grew up in Tel Aviv. Is that what you said at the top?
Yes.
I assume Israeli army at some point.
No. I got expelled.
Yeah. Badass.
Really?
For what?
That's cool.
Anything you can talk about?
just had some growth back pain, so decided that it's not a best fit for me.
I thought you were gonna say you punched your CO.
The thing that no one cares about when you're an older guy is back pain.
Right.
It's like no one can give a fuck.
Right. Join the club.
Less. You're like everybody's got it to some degree. They think. So
I don't think I do.
Grew up in Tel Aviv. I really that's one of the places I want to visit. It's like top 10 place I want to go to.
Really?
Check out. Yeah, I love everything I've heard.
No offense, I'm just curious.
Everything I've seen is beautiful. I've heard the food's amazing. I heard nightlife is fun. I love my Jays.
Oh, that's what he.
Yeah, I'm the most Jewish Gentile.
Jewish. He wants to be Jewish, and that's why.
Yeah, but the women, the Israeli women, are amazingly hot. Like they're just insane.
Sure, I'm just saying.
Right up there with Brazilians.
Now we know the real reason.
Yeah, you grew up.
I go to Brazil, probably cheaper.
I'll do both. I don't want to. Brazil's crazy though. That's the problem. Israel, I feel like, is a little bit more. I know everything around it is not.
Israel's
not so fun.
Sometimes it can be intense.
It can probably. Well, I like the intensity of Israeli people I know. How about that? Like it's a good intense.
Oh, okay.
I could vouch for everything you just named. Highly recommend.
Mazel tov to that. You were recognized as a 30 under 30 entrepreneur in Forbes. I don't know how old you are now, but again, Israelis, you can't tell. They could be 22, they could be 45. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But you, what kind of household did you grow up in?
So just for your curiosity, I'm 28, and I know that the way I seem is just depend on my beard length. So
yeah, that helps. It helps.
That's I definitely did the beard grow like in late 20s, early 30s to look a little bit older when I was talking to clients for a while. Yeah, just because they think you're just like a hot shot or something. And you're like, all right, I need to look like I know stuff. Put on my glasses that I don't need. All right, so you're 28. You grew up. Did you grow up in a household for entrepreneurs, or is it the opposite? Because it's usually one of the.
So two of my parents are accountants. My mom is an employee, and my dad had his own. He's self-employed. Basically, had his own office, but he still had to work. And basically sell his time to get income. So he was not like a big business owner, but he had the entrepreneurial mindset, getting passive income, buying real estate. It was a very, mid-class household, I would say. We didn't have too much, but I'm blessed that I did not miss anything. But my parents, I think that the best contribution of my parents to my entrepreneurial journey, and I've been an entrepreneur ever since I remember, is the fact that they did not hold back on my curiosity. So they never, besides just a few encounters where my teachers were calling my mom because I was not attending classes or something for a while, they never told me to step back or that it's not for me. We did have our arguments from time to time, and I remember that the one thing that I could really remember is my mom, it was in my 14th birthday, she said, do you think you're actually going to be a millionaire at 14? And that's really stuck with me. And I feel that people would take this into two ways. They either, just crawl back and hide in their bed and just do whatever their mom tells them, or they just say, I need to prove that now, right?
Yeah.
I have
you got to work
on my shoulder. Yeah.
It doesn't it's not handed to you.
Yeah, prove it.
You got to do it yourself.
The prove it thing isn't always bad. If the outcome is what you want, the prove it kind of attitude isn't bad. It might not come from a great place, but you speak about being 14 there. We failed to ask at the top of the show the question we ask everybody that comes on for the first time. What advice would you give your 13-year-old self or 14-year-old self in this
That's
case?
a great question.
Yeah, I know, right? Right, Eric?
Yeah,
it's a great question. Eric doesn't like the question.
It's good for the guest, I guess.
He hasn't beat it yet, though.
I literally don't remember it until you say it.
That's called show prep.
I think the one thing that I would probably say harder and louder to myself. It's something that I knew, but I probably never felt it, that lifestyle is more important than money. I've always been passionate about my lifestyle. I gave up many projects, clients, business opportunities just to keep on the lifestyle that I've had, which is basically working from anywhere at any time. But I feel that I sometimes neglected it and preferred going through some very stressful times instead of, I would say, prioritizing my mental health.
Gotcha. Did you think you pushed through that part of your life, the stressful times you're talking about for money, out of fear?
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Definitely. It's a sense of I won't have enough, or I might just lose everything. Sometimes I really wish that I'd lose everything just so I can deal with my biggest fear and, hopefully see that it's not as bad.
You and I can trade spots if you want.
Interesting.
I'm post-divorce financial hell. I mean,
He just wants to stay with your parents in Tel Aviv.
Yeah.
Assuming they live there.
Oh, man, the hummus.
I don't know why they would.
But it seems to be a common theme with most entrepreneurs is the fear of the unknown kind of thing.
I like that though. You want to lose everything just to go through it and be done, and then you come back from it and you're like, I already did that. What am I afraid of?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, there is assurance. Like I've told Eric, like maybe I don't know if I've said it on air, probably, but definitely off air. Like there's no lower I could go as an adult with what happened a couple of years ago. So
right, yeah,
it's kind of assuring to me that like I could get out of it. And it's a long story we don't have enough time for, but it's one of those things where getting out of that is something I do think about a good amount when times are tough now. But you see why a lot of people are doing like these like wilderness camps and stuff. And like
I was doing the prices right for you.
Oh, you don't have the drops. Well, no, I mean this is real talk. This is why we're not like.
I was really bummed out by that.
Well, I with every bad there's a good, and I feel like it makes you have more grit, makes you be more resilient. I'm an aggressive optimist in that way, I guess. So back to your I want to call it SNIZ. I just keep seeing it. What does the name SIIZ mean? SIZ.
Yeah, it's just a takeoff on seize, as in seize your day, which I feel that as entrepreneurs.
Seize, gotcha.
Yeah. I feel that many entrepreneurs just want to wake up and seize their days and just make the most out of their working day. And I feel there's a real mental health improvement when you finish your day and you say, wow, I actually seized my day. I seized my life. And, your days make up your weeks, your month, your years, your life, all of that. And for me, whenever I finish my workday and I feel like I've done what I wanted to and I finished my projects, I progressed what I wanted to, I feel really good about myself. And by the way, that's another thing that I would tell to my 13-year-old boy, that you cannot and should not define yourself based on your business. Your business is not you. You should take care of yourself just like you take care of your business, but your business does not define you, whether you're a good person, a bad person, a successful person or not.
It feels that way in the beginning, though, with a lot of entrepreneurs, and they will carry that out throughout the scaling of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So the name,
Exactly.
Anything that ends in IZ, he and I are just going to immediately assume it's jizz. SIIZ, that spells jizz.
I don't know if you noticed, the show's logo is a dick that's a tie, so we're kind of always in the gutter. How do you prevent burnout as an entrepreneur?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that making sure that you are doing what you're doing and what is the underlying reason of why you're doing it. It's probably, that's a hint. It's probably not the money. It's probably way beyond it. I think that when you do things with intention and you realize how that, and that's a great tip that I've learned from one of my coaches. When you break down your goals and you see how accomplishing your goals help another person that is not just you, so 2 or more people, that could really get you energized to get through the days, even in rough times. That's one, little trick that I've done, for myself, even if it's just, reaching $10 million in sales or whatever. It's a very, numeric goal. You can see how that helps many, many, many other people and prevent the burnout because you have this responsibility to accomplish that goal that is just beyond you. The second thing is what I call cycling breaks, which is on an hourly basis, on a daily basis, weekly, monthly, and a yearly basis. So I take about a 15-minute break every hour. I could do even a 5-minute break every 20, 25 minutes. I take an hour break every 3-4 hours. So basically just understand that, my body is just like a machine that needs to rest. my mind is, needs to take a rest, needs to step down from whatever I'm doing, I'm way more effective when I'm having my 2-hour workday sometimes than having 10-hour workdays. I just feel that I accomplished more. And the third tip that I would advise is measuring your success backwards. So instead of just looking at what you have not accomplished so far and what you need to accomplish and did not accomplish yet, look backward at the end of your day and see and really force yourself, even if it was, the most ineffective day that you've had, just force yourself to see what are the top 3 wins or progresses that you've made today. I do this on a weekly basis, and I just look at my week and count all of my wins in the last week. I feel that having this 5-minute exercise gives me so much energy for the next one, just because I get this dopamine rush. And as I know that, the more items I check off and the more progress I make, I'll enjoy more at the end of the day and at the end of the week.
Yeah. See, I have done something similar, not consistently, where I've written down all the shitty things that have happened to me that I've overcome.
Oh, okay.
To look at backwards, just to say, well, I mean, it's not as bad as that.
Right. No, that's good too. That's kind of what we're
that's
doing.
Why me though?
No. Pity, self-pity sucks, and if I find myself drifting towards there, it's like
Just
get
hit
out
me
of
up.
that shit.
Hit me up.
No, I mean,
And I will put you in your place.
it's like a half second, and then I'm like, I'm not going that way.
Get to a full second. Hit me up.
Okay. There's one thing I wanted to get to on our sheet about you. How do you make imposter syndrome your friend?
Okay. Yeah, that's one of my favorite topics to talk about, and I could probably speak for hours on that, so you have to probably stop me. But
give us the short answer, and we'll have you back on another time to to talk about it. Because I agree.
Yeah,
we talk about it. Well, we talk about fake it till you make it, and then you get there, and then you feel like you shouldn't be there, and that's where that can kind of come in. But it doesn't always have to be fake it till you make it to get there. You could get there, be successful, doing all the right things, morally, ethically, what you believe, values that you hold.
Or you get there and you realize
it's not all
most
that
other
great.
people are faking it too.
Or like a lot of celebrities, they get to this point where they wanted to achieve whatever, and then they get there and they go cuckoo.
And they start doing art house films and black and white 4-hour movies.
I feel like that's a common thread, definitely with a lot of comics I know. Like they get to this point, this rarefied air, and then they're not fulfilled.
Right.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah. So I've dealt with imposter syndrome my entire life. And at first, the most popular advice that people would give you is to say how awesome you are and just look yourself in the mirror, and they try to convince you that your imposter syndrome should not be there and that you're the most awesome, amazing human being that was ever lived. And you'll be successful at any rate. I feel that's, for many people, I think for most people, and in most situations, you just don't believe yourself when you go into that bad spiral and you feel that imposter syndrome. So what I've done is I just decided to accept the fact that imposter syndrome will be there, and that's a protection mechanism that my brain made in order to protect myself from being in danger or taking too much risk, and just tell me to go to the safe place, to the safe zone, to my comfort zone, and embrace the fact that I go into that spiral, look at it from the outside, and just make it my best friend in a sense where I ask the question, okay, brain, if I'm not good enough, if I can make it, if I don't have the skills, if I shouldn't do it, what do I need to do? Who do I need to learn from? Who do I need to ask in order to get there? What skills do I need to acquire in order to get there? Okay, I embrace the fact that you tell me that I'm not good enough, but I want to do that. How do I do that in a way that it's safe, or that eliminates or decreases the risk that you just alarm me right now for, that keeps me up at night, or that prevents me from doing what I want to achieve, or that makes me just sit on my laptop and stare at the screen for hours just because I don't have the confidence to send that email or to record that podcast or whatever. And once you realize that this protection mechanism makes you asking those questions, you one step at a time, you just become better at what you had to do. You go and ask for help. You go and buy that course. You go and watch that podcast or that YouTube video, or read this guide, or whatever it is. Or you take an advisor, a consultant. And it just makes you better and better and better in whatever it is that you want to create. And this is how you're like, okay, the fact that I feel that I'm not good enough for that task, or that I'm not talented enough in that field, this feeling, whether it's right or not, I'm not even debating whether it's right or not. I just flip the question and ask, what do I need to do? Who do I need to learn from? Or what do I need to learn in order to feel that I'm better at it? And this commitment to learning that skill or asking for that help just creates more confidence and clarity. And, suddenly you just look back and you're like, hey, I just learned something new. And suddenly you don't have this importance syndrome because you feel that you were qualified for whatever it is that you wanted to do.
Well, it sounds like I used to do this a lot more. I'm trying to get back to doing that. When you have a feeling like that is probably in the negative area, almost treat yourself as your own therapist and ask, what's
the real fear?
Yeah, what am I really
actually afraid of having?
Yeah, what am I worried about right now? What am I really worried about? Why do I feel anxious or any of that? I used to do that a lot more. I've been starting to get back to that, and it kind of helps because it kind of helps crystallize why am I even?
Yeah, 90% of the time it's your own ego and being scared that you're going to fail, and that's it.
Right.
The real failure is just not doing it.
Yeah, and then I've had to tell a lot of people, do you think this person or this group of people is thinking about you all the time?
Right. Nobody gives a shit.
Right.
Nobody cares about your anxiety.
When it's something that
doesn't help anybody but you.
They're going to think I'm this.
You.
They're going to think I'm that. It's like, do you think they sit around and think about you all day? They think about themselves.
You say your name to their face and they forget it before you're done saying it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I called a woman in bed my own name, and that might be narcissism.
You forgot it.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on. We'll definitely have you back on at some point, maybe later in the year, because there's a lot to chew off this apple. Mm-hmm. Any plugs? Send anybody that's listening to what? You tell us. Where do they go?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was a great conversation. And I'm pretty active on LinkedIn, so always happy to connect with fellow entrepreneurs. And so feel free to find me on LinkedIn. That's Tomer Han. Or if you want to get the Seize Seize flow just before we launch, you can go on Seize.life and get the introductory price. That's our pre-launch price. We don't make any profit. We sell it at cost. And I'm very excited for it.
Yeah.
SIIZ.life.
Right.
That's a URL.
And I'll make sure to send you guys 2 bottles of it.
Definitely.
Nice.
Definitely. Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on. And mahalo.